The strongest and the worst or weakest positions for the lower back are going to be discussed. The best, safest, and strongest positioning for the lower spine, the low back area that we call the lumbar region, is typically our standing position. What makes it an effective and strong position is that when we stand, characteristically, we have a curvature to the alignment of how the vertebrae are stacked on top of each other. So looking at a side view with the model in the same position that I'm in, it's quite easy to see the way the vertebrae of the lower spine are contoured inwardly. From the outside, that appearance is that there's a slight hollow or concavity to the lower spine. We call that the lordosis, and it's critically important to maintaining the strength and positioning of the joints and vertebrae in the lower spine. With that inward curve, which we would like to maintain as much of the time as we can make practical, it keeps the pressures on the weight-bearing joints that we call the spinal discs to a minimum. It optimizes the coaptation, or the way the intervertebral joints interface together, and it provides the optimum angles for the muscles to provide stability and precise movement. So for those three reasons, this is a very, very good position. Throughout as much of the time as possible, we'd like to maintain that inward curvature or lordosis. That is the underlying reason why it's always discussed that we lift with our legs. So if we do that, we can maintain that lordotic curvature and keep the spine in its strongest position, and also the position where it can handle the most lifting load. On the other hand, the worst positioning for the lower spine is when we lose this curve and we round the spine forward. The more we round forward, the more the weight of the torso is hanging out here unsupported. That represents roughly 2/3 of our body weight. The more we bend forward, the more compression load there is on those spinal discs. And the more we bend forward, the harder it is for the small muscles of the lower back to maintain safety of the movement of the spinal joints themselves.